over 30 years, international interior designer Stephen G is a world-renowned master of contemporary and traditional high-end design.
To me, lifestyle and comfort is what a great design project is all about.
Interiors by Stephen G has galleries in Florida and New York. With staff fluent in 7 different languages, Interiors by Stephen G offers a full-service experience from construction to completion. Visit Interiors by Stephen G at Facebook or his website, interiorsbystephenG.com. That's interiorsbystephenG.com to get started on bringing your design fantasies to a level beyond your dreams. Visit interiorsbystephenG.com today. For women, success is an entirely different game. Our goals are huge, and so are our responsibilities. There is work and there is play, health, friendships, and romance. The question is, how do you call all the shots and never lose sight on what it means to be a woman? Each week, Elena Cardone and Katrina Campins bring you topics, discussions, and tips with women in power who are going for it all and making it happen.
Thanks for tuning in to Women in Power. You are watching Whatever It Takes Nation. I'm with Katrina Campins, and of course, I'm Elena Cardone. Katrina and I decided to do this show because we were talking one day and we said, what is the role of a woman today in today's world, in this modern society, this modern world? What are we doing? What are our relationships like? Our careers? We're trying to navigate. We don't need like the big women's kind of feminist movement that we needed at one point to kind of get equal rights in the workplace and voting, etc. But where is it now? Where do we stand and whatnot? So we decided to bring the show Women in Power to you.
And we're on the journey as well. So as we discover what it really means to be a woman in power, we want your feedback and we want to share that experience with you, which is why today we decided to go live for the first time because we want feedback.
So we are. We're taking callers. Yes. You can call 305-865-8668 at any point during the show and give us your thoughts. Today I wanted to cover the topic of picking the right partner. Recently, a girlfriend asked me, she's like, you've been married for 10 years. How do I find someone like Grant? How did you find each other? They want to know all the secrets. And I know Katrina's married as well. And so people are asking you, like, you know, how does this work? You know,
right. How did you come to find the right partner? And what does it entail having that partner? You know, I was single for 4.5 years before I met my husband. And I really believe, and we've discussed that it comes down to your value system. I think that's the first most critical component is to make sure that you share the same value systems, because otherwise, long term, I just don't see relationships working unless you have those value systems. And so, and open communication, trust. But again, you know, we were talking about this earlier when we were doing our hair and makeup, which is like, well, what was
by
it
Dry
like?
Deluxe. I love those guys. If you're in Miami, check them out. Anyway, go on.
But what happened in the past before you got to that relationship, which helped you recognize that this was the man, you know, for you. And, you know, again, with Grant, you have a very interesting story and so forth, but why don't you tell us about that actually?
Well, I had a series of failures in relationships, and I noticed that I kept doing the same offenses, like, or pulling in the same kind of offense, toxic kind of man in my relationship. I went from one serial cheater to the next. And then I just developed this notion that all men cheat, and that's what I was to expect. And it wasn't until I realized that that's a myth and I deserve better, and that there are men actually out there that do exist, that are monogamous, that respect values and relationships and want a family and are on the same path that I wanted to create. So I had to recognize that for myself.
But don't you think that it took that time to really love yourself? I mean, it sounds so corny, but to love yourself first and to really get to know who you are in order to attract the right person? Because I know that those 4.5 years, I always joke, you know, we've discussed this in before in hair and makeup, which is like before I had the single superwoman epidemic. So I was like powerful, you know, and I was becoming the man that I wanted, and I was becoming so masculine. I was so rough, and I created these walls that were, you know, too high, I should say, for even myself to climb. And it was only until I basically got to know myself, and that took, I mean, I was such a dork. On Friday and Saturday nights, I would sit at home and I would drink wine and read about quantum physics and human behavior and who was I as a person. And it was only then that I was able to recognize, you know, when the right person came into my life.
Well, that's why I wanted to cover this book, okay? It's Picking Right. It's the best book I've ever read in terms of the singles guide for finding the right match. It's by a woman named Daphne Levy. And, you know, there's certain things in this book that, you know, had this been on the list, it may have helped prevent those 3 relationships that were not so good. Because in hindsight, no, it was BS. I did not need to go through that to find what I was looking for. I just needed to know right now what it is that can get me there. First of all, what is the purpose of a relationship? First and foremost, you have to know that. Are you going to feel love and experience these emotions and that's it? You know, it's like, okay, the purpose of a relationship, she says, is to assist and improve the life, health, happiness, and success of the partners in that relationship. So, you know, if you were a good person, and then you get with a guy, and then you find yourself becoming a less motivated, more depressed, self-insecure person after, then I would say the 1 plus the 1, you plus the guy, equals less than 1 bad relationship. If you're 1 plus 1 and you kind of stay the same, it's a toss-up. You could give or take. But an ideal relationship should be 1 plus 1 equals greater than 2. Right. Like, you're more motivated. They are inspiring you, encouraging you in like a really positive, healthy way.
Well, and a lot of women think, oh, I just want to feel that love. And it's not about that. It's about somebody that's pushing you to become a better version of yourself, pushing you outside that comfort zone. And that's why I don't buy into this whole thing that, you know, rainbows and unicorns. It's not about that. And also, when you're choosing a partner, you have to make sure that you understand that this is a lifetime. And so you have to make sure that, again, they share your value system and that they're going to help you grow in areas and make you better. And you're going to want to make that person better. And
you can't assume that they have the same desires that you do. You can't just assume, like, because y'all are in this in-love thing that, you know, he's decided to make you his only one. I mean, that might be a decision in your head, but unless you have the communication, like, okay, we're going to go on this path and create a family and do these other things. Like, you know, you can't just assume, because people make that mistake. You know, if they were a cheater before they got with you and you're not having the talk and really seeing that they want to turn their life around, chances are you're going to be cheated on too.
Call in and let us know what your life experiences are.
305-865-8668. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, honey. What happened to your face?
First direct mail sale we had in helping us sell over 200 new Lexus in one weekend.
We have established relationships with some of the best dealerships in the nation.
When you work with Hamlin Associates, John is from the automotive business. John has a really good grasp of what it takes to make a sale successful, and John is very much worried about your return on investment.
Let us help you go to the next level.
We're back here, Women in Power, and we're discussing how to choose the right partner and what that entails. And we're taking calls. So feel free to call at 305-865-8668.
Yeah, one of the things we were talking about is like picking the right mate, and certain you have to also, I think, be willing to look at the red flags. Did you feel like in the relationships that failed you, you actually had the red flags there,
They were
and
all
you
over the
completely
place.
discarded?
You just choose to ignore them. And you know, now with my husband, because when you and I were text messaging last night about what our topic was going to be today, he's like, well, you know, because he always puts his 2 cents in, and he's like, well, when I first met you, I watched and I observed the way you walk, the way you treated people, the way you chewed gum, the way you ate, the way, everything. And he said, you have to observe that person because you want to see how they're going to react, in stressful situations. You want to see how they're going to treat other people. And it's important to really know that and also discuss it. You know, I was telling you that when my husband proposed to me, he gave me a 45-minute speech about...
So we know he's a good communicator. That's good.
I was like, okay, what's coming? After this, but about, his flaws. And he was very honest about it. Listen, I'm a package, and these are the positive attributes about me, but these are the negatives, and I'm not going to change. No one changes. This is the way I am. So if you want me, great, and if you don't, and I appreciated that honesty. So I think it's just so important to communicate. And I really believe that the foundation for any kind of relationship is trust, honesty and love, of course, but respect. It's respect for each other, respect for wanting to actually push that person to be greater.
Yes.
And so,
well, I have someone on the line. Her name is Terry. She's actually a lifestyle and relationship expert, and she contributes regularly on the local and national network media. So I wanted to ask Terry, you can follow her actually at Terry T, T-E-R-R-I-T. On Twitter. She's always giving out great advice. I want to ask Terry if Terry's there.
I'm here.
You're there. Hi.
Hello, ladies.
Hi. Well,
How are
Terry,
you?
I want to hear from your perspective because you are an expert as well as you're single. So
Yeah. Well, I have a boyfriend, but
okay.
I'm not
So
married.
you're
Yeah.
in a relationship. That's good. So at what point are you first of all are you looking for the red flags constantly in the relationship? Or
Oh,
you?
That's exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't know that I advise doing that. And I have. Well, also depends on what your goal is. What we're talking about today are picking a life partner, right? And what I want to start, though, by saying to you guys is that I think the biggest mistake women make is not taking men at their word. How many times do women meet men and the men go, oh, I'm not interested in a relationship. Oh, we're not compatible. And the women try to convince him.
I just got chills
That's
all
a
over my body.
mistake. That is
It's
a
a
big mistake.
mistake.
Look at the products. What are they showing you? Not what they're saying. Who are they?
No, what they are saying. Actually, I'm saying believe what they say. A lot of them, some people,
I
they'll try to
disagree.
charm you. But
I mean,
because women so many times, and I have so many guy friends who are like, I'm telling her from the beginning, listen, if you want to have sex, that's great, but that's all this is. And the women are like,
Right.
oh, they have these hope.
That's true.
right.
Yes, that's different. But like
So-
the guy, yeah, go ahead.
sorry. So I think Oprah said it. Like when people tell you they're bad for you, believe them. So when
Yes.
someone's telling you this is just we're gonna be bed buddies and this is it, you've got to take them at that word. The idea of you should try to here's the problem.
No, that's
Too
right.
many
You
people
don't
look
trade
at
them.
love. They look at love like a reward. If I am good and I prove myself, I'll win
Or
the
I
love.
have to
That's not how it
learn
works.
from this. So
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
Yes.
really when a man says that he's not ready or he's not looking for this, like believe what he says.
That's right.
Because there's no
Believe him.
changing that.
But now, how about this? How about a man that says, scenario, man saying, oh, I have this deal in the works. I'm going to do this and I'm going to take care of this. And they're fluff and they're charming and they're this and they're that. And, oh, yes, you're the love of my life. Meanwhile, the woman supporting them, taking care of them, they're kind of being the taker, but they're saying something else, but they're showing other things. They're maybe hanging out with their friends. Oh, I've got band rehearsal or I've got this or that, Do you take them at their word then, or you kind of have to assess
Yes.
every situation and scenario?
Well, look, actually, my boyfriend is a musician. When he has band rehearsal, he's band rehearsal. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But what you just said was interesting. You brought up the financial part. If you are already financially invested in someone that you're not sure is a long-term partner, then you've already gone in too deep. I think as soon as there's a question
That's
of
a
money
good
and
point.
support, no way. I'm talking about what you said earlier, which is, what if a guy's saying, oh, you're the love of my life. You're going to be it. How long does that go for? I mean, you have to have a limit for yourself. I say, you're not going to make any big decisions about a guy for at least 6 months. I can't imagine doing that before then because you need to get to know them.
Start looking. You know, you need to like what you said. You know, kind of what your husband did. Look at who their friends are. Who is the sum of who they are? What are they? Are they saying and producing what they're delivering? Are they keeping their word? Are they showing up on time? Or whatever the qualities that each individual person have? Are they actually following through and delivering?
And the biggest thing I think is keeping your word. You know, so many men and women don't keep their word nowadays. It's just finding somebody that can actually back up their word and keep it is, God, it's like finding a diamond, you know? It's just really, really difficult. And
depends on keeping their word, certainly standing by what they say and actually doing what they say, like you guys are saying, critical. But I think if someone's promising a big future when you've only known them less than 6 months, I would be very leery of that too. But what you said is correct. Part of what'll help you realize, discover if this is the right person is, like you said, not only how they treat you, because if they're in love with you and they're hot for you, you're going to get the best treatment. It's not real. How do they treat wait staff? How do they treat strangers, people they don't stand to benefit from? How do they talk about the people in their lives? Because if they tend to treat them badly or be very sarcastic, you got to know that's coming around.
That's coming around.
Terry, what do you think about, because Elena and I have difference of opinion with this,
Okay.
is that what do you think that you can actually change someone's value system?
Never.
Exactly.
Will not change a person. And
this is
so
what I wanted
many
to
lives
say.
are lost by going in.
No. I did not say I could change somebody's value system because I don't think I do believe that a person can change their value system or how they were raised. I'll tell you why. Because I know Fallon's husband grew up in a very abusive environment. Everyone in his family was physically abusive and never went to college and didn't strive for anything outside of what that family's values were. And he made a decision to change that. And he went to college. He doesn't hit his kids. He's changed how his value system is.
But see, I think his value system watching that was, I don't want this in my life. So my value system is when I start a family, I don't want to...
That's controversial because that's contradictory because that was his family's value system. You can't say all of a sudden, oh, he decided, because then you could say that about the negative too. He stepped out and said, oh, I'm going to be like that.
But that's that man's growth, though. He did that wonderfully.
See, that's right. And I believe people
but that's
can
different
change
than
from
changing. But watching that, don't you think he set up his value system to be, hey, I don't want this in my life.
Right. He has his own brain. He has his own desires.
That's right. But he can change if he wants to. That's all I'm saying. I would never try to change someone because I think you're setting yourself up for failure. You're not.
Well, of course, but that's what we're talking
something.
about, right? Meeting a man and not liking what he's like and hoping he'll change for you.
That's right.
What's on the
We'll
table.
be right back because this is a heated discussion, but we'll be right back after this break.
Cash flow. With over $120 million submitted in 2014, we'll deliver. Dealer Capital Services. Visit mydealercapital.com or call 337-451-6921 today.
Hey, and we are back with another heated topic on Women in Power, picking the right partner. We were talking in the last segment with Terry. You can follow her at Terry T, T-E-R-R-I-T. And she's a relationship expert and coach. And so we were in a little bit of a heated debate.
And
about
hold on, because my headphones are not working, but hold on a minute.
Well, one of the things that that Terry said was, you should wait 6 months or, at least be, if I got this correctly, like at least consider waiting 6 months until you kind of know someone. Right. And then it brought me to this, which I did not remember at the time, but you tell me what happened with you.
Well,
2 weeks.
And by the way, I mean, we got engaged after 1 week and married after 2. And again, that's not the norm. But it was, you can't really set parameters.
How did you? What?
But you know what? I had been single for so long that I knew exactly what I wanted, what I did not want. I just knew.
No, but I mean, that is scary. I'm going to agree with Terry on this one. Terry, are you still there?
Oh, yes, I am.
Lord have mercy. Did you just hear this bombshell?
That's insane to me, but if she knew what she wanted.
Yeah, and you know what? And he had been single for 5 years, and he was definitely a playboy, lived in 26 different countries, did his thing. And I think once you know, but again, let's go back to the value system, which we were discussing before. He grew up in a very abusive environment, in a very bad home environment, and he knew that's not what he wanted for himself. So he knew that he wanted to choose his family because he couldn't choose the family that he was born into. So coming this time around, he knew, listen, I'm not going to do what my dad did to my mother. I'm not a cheater. I'm not a liar. I'm not going to create a bad environment for my kids. And so again, his value system came from watching what he did not want. And so, and trust me, no one's going to change that man's value system. That's what I'm saying. It's not that I'm going to change, but he's never going to change his value system. I feel like
he's happy with the way he is right
deep
now.
Ingrained in his value system. And I love him for his value system, which is why, again, we're together. But to go back to I don't think Elena thought that she can change someone's value system, but she just thinks that through time, maybe you can change your value system.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people evolve. Certainly. They get wiser. They decide they choose what they want. When you guys were saying, picking the right partner, I wanted to make sure that it was not, hey, he's great. Everything about that value system, we'll fix that thing up.
No,
right, of course.
That is the biggest mistake people make is they go blind with, oh, the sex is great. I love this man. People fall in love for really weird reasons, you guys. They might fall in love with his biceps. They might fall in love with the stomach, with the sex. I mean, people really do fall in love with maybe the way someone looks. They're not really willing to look at everything.
That drives me crazy when someone says, "Oh, he's so hot." Oh, get over it. I mean, he's going to be hot for what, a week? You have to live with this person. I mean,
right.
Well,
it drives me wild.
I mean, and then people, like the red flags. I know Terry was saying the red flags, it's too much, but really it's not. Like, how do they treat animals? How do they treat their mother? How do they treat like what you said, Terry? How do they treat the wait staff or the valet? Yes. Or I mean, these things are the things that you can't overlook. I think those are kind of the clues that women have to kind of be willing to say, you know what? There's enough clues here to know that this isn't going to change unless they decide to change that value system.
Well, you guys are talking about being women in power, right? And there's not a woman in power who's married. Okay, there are women in power who are not married, but of those who are married, they always credit their success to having a partner who supports them. So what's really tricky and interesting is for women in power, when they're dating and getting to know someone or a few people, how does that man respond to your successes in power? Does he feel cowed by it? Does he feel intimidated? Does he make fun of it, put it down? And so when you share things that you've done or succeeded in, what is the response? That's really critical.
Mm-hmm. Have you found in the course of your dating experience recently, I mean, not recently because I know you're in a relationship, but just a little bit prior to that, were you having issues with men finding you being such a powerful woman like hard to deal with?
Sometimes I am hard to deal with, period. So that's just one
At
thing.
least you know
You're
that.
honest.
Yeah.
You see,
Right.
you're straightforward.
But I mean, really, no. there are no shrinking violets looking to hang out with me. Like, there's just no way. I know, like, I come across as a strong personality. Usually the problem is I draw some men, and not the guy I'm with now, who I care very deeply about, but other guys would be drawn to me because I'm strong, and then they're not so strong, and that's a turnoff. I like a strong guy.
Oh,
I want someone who can also stand up and not be, feel insecure.
And that's another thing is that, and I've said this before, and I stand so strong in this belief, is that no matter how successful a woman is, she just wants to let go and be a woman. She wants a man to a certain degree to lead her, to tell her what to do. You know, I've had girlfriends that are like,
Terry?
I just want my man to tell me.
Do you want a man to lead you and tell you what to do?
Absolutely. And you know what's funny is that I'm a feminist, and I do want a man to lead me sometimes. I make my, I'm like, listen to my boyfriend, I'll be like, where are we going? You tell me. What restaurant? When do I need to be there? Please be in charge. I love it. And I don't believe it takes away one iota from my power, because it's my choice to surrender it when I want.
You know,
so
this
really quickly, though, because what is a feminist to you? We were recently on the path to what is a feminist nowadays.
I think you can't be a woman in this day and age and not be a feminist. And I don't mean
what
you
does
need
that
to be a
mean?
bra
Because the definition of a feminist is for equal rights for women. I feel like we have equal rights for women.
Not.
Well, maybe not equal pay, and we still have to work on that.
Women are still looked at as women and as meat in many corporate environments. And you know that, and I'm sure your husband can attest to how he's seen other men treat and talk about women. We are nowhere near as equal as we think. There are nowhere near the representation of women that we want. I'm not saying you have to hate men. I think you should love men, especially if you want to love a man. But at the same time, a feminist is a woman who believes a woman deserves everything a man does. And
but don't you think that a lot of women have
become
become
the feminist party? What?
But don't you think a lot of women have become leaders in companies? And you know, there's article after article that women make better.
Thank God for you two leading the way. I want more of people like you. I want more people who are willing to stand up and do this. I won't be happy until there are more. I think we have a few token women, and we think, oh, we're good, check that box.
Well, I think, but also, let's not just blame men in that situation, because you said, you know, women are treated like meat. Okay, so this is another thing that drives me crazy is I'm on Instagram, and most of the people that have 1 million+ followers, they're women that are posting pictures of themselves in bikinis all day long. Either that or photos of, you know, fitness people. But again, these fitness women are half naked. And so are women putting themselves in that position?
Of course, they have great bodies. They want to show them.
Yeah,
I think it's okay. You can be a feminist and love your body. Yeah. I think you should be proud of that body.
But to a certain extent, not when every photo is of you half naked.
Right. And then it gives a mixed message, like a guy's supposed to look at you like meat or not look at me. But
do they deserve to be raped? No.
No. Terry, that's extremist. No,
come on. You're a feminist. You've just said it. Yeah. They're allowed to show and be proud of the bodies they have. You two are gorgeous. Don't tell me that doesn't matter. It does. People, that's important for the role you're in. That's wonderful.
It is important, but I think, and I've said this again, is that there's so many beautiful women in this world. I think there's 10 times the amount of beautiful women that there are handsome men. So, but these women that are, like, I'm wondering, how are these women getting paid? Okay, I understand after a certain, like, how are they making a living? Okay, you're posting pictures of the bikini. I understand after a certain time you get sponsors.
We don't know. They might have jobs as accountants.
Would you hire someone that's posting a picture in a bikini as your accountant?
I'll hire anyone who can do my taxes.
Oh, no. I think you have to have a certain amount of respect. Like, for instance, and I see this in my industry, I'm looking at young realtors and they email me, hey, I want advice, I want this, I want that, how do I build my brand? And then I go to their Instagram and every single photo is of them in a bikini. Why would a woman, especially a wife, hire you to sell their house? I mean, I don't understand it.
I don't know either, but I don't think it's on us to make sure enough women have enough clothes on. I think our job is women are allowed to do. I don't want to be slut shaming and women shaming. I think men already do that enough. Women are sometimes the worst at sabotaging other women. So I say post whatever you want of yourself. If you're treated a certain way, then maybe you should put some clothes on, maybe, but that's up to them.
Dress for the job that you want.
I don't want to be in the business of policing other women and telling them how to behave. Men have been telling women that for too long.
No, but if a woman's going to email you and ask you for advice on a profession, then she's wondering why she's not getting the business and all her photos are...
But I don't worry about that.
See, this is picking a partner in life or in career, or how do you pick?
And somehow we got into women in bikinis.
I don't want to attack other women. I just don't want to.
But it is how, like, what are your values and what are you looking for?
See, I'm very conservative. See, my value system, it's not changing. That's okay. You know, but you know what? I was watching Beyonce's, On the Run, by the way, fabulous HBO special, and I'm watching her, and she is just a woman power. God. But mark my words, when she gets home, Jay-Z leads her. I bet $1 million on her.
Oh, well,
that she
for
lets go and
sure.
she's vulnerable.
Oh, for
because
sure.
every woman needs that. And that's why that relationship...
But she's a sex symbol, too. Look at you showing her
God,
body
she
everywhere. I
was
love it.
Butt out,
Yeah.
stripper pole, like what, you know.
To be honest with you,
right.
while I'm watching her, I love her. But I was also thinking, oh, you know, how does your husband okay with this? But I guess it's entertainment, it's business, whatever. Who am I to judge? That's a whole other
Look,
interesting
women,
topic.
people love beauty. They want to see bodies. Bodies are beautiful. I have no problem with that. If someone's asking for advice and you're looking at their site going, yeesh, then maybe that'll affect whether you hire them or whether you work with them. But you still, I would still believe that woman has a right to go and go for any job she wants. She may not get it. Right.
Terry, really quickly, I'm going to put you through a test. It's
Okay.
The answers are yes, somewhat, or no.
Okay.
Okay. Being in a relationship with your guy that you're in with a relationship now, do you feeling better about myself? Yes, somewhat, or no?
When I'm with him, feel better about myself?
Yeah,
Yes.
then you did pre. Okay, that's good. You hold up the yes. Number one for yes.
What is that
More
yes?
optimistic about life.
Wait, okay.
Pre him?
Optimistic? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Feeling happier overall.
Yes.
Good. Having more self-respect? Yes,
I already had a
somewhat,
lot.
or no?
I already had a lot.
Yes.
I don't want to credit him with all that.
Okay,
I had it.
so
I
that's
brought it in.
somewhat. Somewhat fair or no? No.
You have more self-respect? No?
No. No, it's about
I don't.
the
He
same.
didn't give it to
Okay,
me.
so
I
one
had it.
no. Being more productive?
Does he
Yes.
inspire you to be more
Yes.
productive?
Oh, good.
Okay.
Having more self-confidence? No. I'm
She's
giving
gonna
her a
say-
no.
she's gonna say no.
I'm giving her a no. Are you pursuing more your goals? Your goals?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Feeling more ambitious?
Absolutely.
Woo!
Yes.
Being more creative?
Absolutely, 100%.
Building my future? Are you building your future?
What does that mean? Financial?
Building your future, financial, where you want to go, career,
Yes,
family, whatever.
thinking about that,
Okay,
yes,
good.
yes.
So,
Oh, yeah,
Terry,
totally.
8
we
out
are
of
going to
10.
put you in a good relationship. Stick with it, okay? So if anyone's
cool.
in doubt or wants to know, there's a list in this book, Picking Right. Great book by Daphne. I have loved having Terry on the show today.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
You are
Appreciate it.
so amazing.
Thank
so,
you.
So all in all, you know, as far as choosing the right partner, you just have to, again, observe. And, you know, I think it also comes back to self-love, as we said, you know, as corny as that is. So once you love yourself, then you can attract the right person that can help you grow to be that much greater.
So in a nutshell, we have said that you are not changing anyone. They change yourselves. Be willing to look at the red flags.
Check your value system.
Check your own value system. If you need some changing, you better make some adjustments.
Well, no, you're not changing your value system.
Why not?
I'm not changing my values for somebody else. These are my values.
No,
these are his
if they
values.
can
Do they go
improve.
together?
If they can improve.
No, my values are my values. We
You
don't wanna
wouldn't
agree on
improve
that.
your values if you
No,
could?
because my values are like, I'm conservative. I'm never going to be a liberal that's running around
No,
half
then
naked.
that's not a good change. If that's not a good, you
It
know.
depends on who you ask.
Well, for you, I'm talking about you. It's your self.
But check your value systems and make, like, you and Grant have the same value systems. You have the same goals. You understand. You know, you each have a role. You have a lane.
we have different value systems. He's way more not conservative than me. He's like, I'm always running PR damage control because I'm like, and he's like, he's like a bull.
He's also very strong, and you soften him up a little bit.
Thank you. Well, this has been very exciting, this episode of Women in Power. You can follow Katrina at Katrina Campins. You can follow me at Elena Cardone. And then our wonderful guest at Terry T, who has, always got inspirational tweets coming out if you want to follow her. And
let us know, what you want our next topic to be, and feel free to call in. We're going live every Monday at 1 o'clock now, Eastern Time.
Yes, and you can also post comments under Whatever It Takes Network. We will respond to all the comments, and we really had fun today. This was very exciting. So thanks for tuning in and watching on Whatever It Takes Network.
For over 30 years, international interior designer Stephen G is a world-renowned master of contemporary and traditional high-end design.
To me, lifestyle and comfort is what a great design project is all about.
Interiors by Stephen G has galleries in Florida and New York. With staff fluent in 7 different languages, Interiors by Stephen G offers a full-service experience from construction to completion. Visit Interiors by Stephen G at Facebook or his website, interiorsbystephen.com. That's interiorsbystephen.com to get started on bringing your design fantasies to a level beyond your dreams. Visit interiorsbystephen.com today.